From scarcity to abundance, a miracle unfolds. We all know the feeling of not having enough. We look at a big problem and then at our small resources. We see the mountain of need and the molehill of our ability. It feels overwhelming. It feels impossible. This is the feeling of scarcity. It whispers that we are too small, that what we have is too little, and that our efforts will not make a difference. But there is a story, a powerful and true story, that speaks directly into this fear. It is a story that promises a different reality. It shows us how, in just a few moments, scarcity can be transformed into stunning abundance. It is a miracle that happened once, but teaches a lesson for every day. Imagine standing on a grassy hillside. The sun is beginning to set. A huge crowd surrounds you, thousands of people. You have been listening to Jesus teach all day long. His words have filled your heart with hope and peace. But now, your stomach is rumbling. The children are getting fussy. The people are hungry. There are no shops nearby. There is no food to buy. The disciples see this. They feel the heavy weight of responsibility. They see the growing need. They see a massive problem with no simple solution. This is where the story begins, in a place of deep need and obvious lack. This moment is a picture of our own lives. We often face situations that seem too big for us. A friend is in a crisis that we don't know how to solve. Our community faces challenges that feel insurmountable. We want to help, but we look at our own lives and see limits. We see limited time, limited energy, and limited funds. We feel the same worry the disciples felt. We focus on what is missing instead of what is possible. This story invites us to see our moments of scarcity in a new light. But this is not a story about despair. It is a story about a divine turnaround. It is about a small offering meeting an unlimited God. Jesus takes a situation of complete lack and turns it into a demonstration of his endless supply. He shows everyone there, and everyone who would ever read this story, that our human limitations are no obstacle to his divine power. He teaches us that the journey from scarcity to abundance begins with a simple act of trust. He shows us that what starts small, when placed in his hands, can become more than enough for everyone. The lesson is simple and profound. Little can become much, The disciples were practical men. They saw the problem clearly. Thousands of people far from any town were growing hungry. It was getting late. Their solution was simple and logical. Send the people away. Let them go to the nearby villages and find food for themselves. This was a response based on what they could see. They saw the massive crowd. They calculated the cost. They looked at their own empty pockets. They saw only the limitation. They saw the problem, but did not yet see the provider beside them. Jesus saw the same crowd. He felt the same compassion, but he saw a different possibility. He did not see a problem to be dismissed. He saw an opportunity to reveal God's heart. He turns to his disciples with a simple, profound command. You give them something to eat. Imagine their shock. It must have felt impossible, even confusing, like filling an ocean with a single bucket. They were asked to solve an enormous problem with resources they did not possess. The command showed the limit of their own strength. This is a pattern we often experience. We face a great need, and we feel God prompting us to act. We feel a nudge to help, to give, to serve. Our first reaction is often like the disciples. How? How can I possibly make a difference here? I don't have what it takes. We list reasons we're unable to help. We are too busy, too tired, not wealthy enough. We see the size of the need and feel disqualified. We forget that when God gives a command, He provides the ability. He asks for our availability, not our ability. Jesus asks another simple question. How many loaves do you have? Go and see. The question shifts the focus, from the overwhelming crowd to what they actually possessed. Even if it seemed small, a gentle redirection. He isn't asking for what they don't have. He's asking them to inventory what they do have. This is a critical step. It is the beginning of the miracle. The journey from scarcity to abundance doesn't start with magical food. It starts with an honest look at the small things we can offer. In the middle of this massive crowd, a small boy steps forward. He has his dinner with him. It is not a feast fit for a king. It is a simple, humble meal. 5 small barley loaves, 2 little fish. In the face of feeding thousands, this offering seems almost ridiculous. It is barely enough for one person, let alone a multitude. The disciples even point this out, saying, "But what are they for so many?" They saw the gift through the lens of scarcity. It was insignificant. It was not enough. It was hardly worth mentioning. But the boy gave it anyway. He offered what he had, without knowing what would happen next. Jesus did not see the gift as small or insignificant. He saw it as an opportunity. He saw the boy's willing heart. This is a beautiful picture of how God receives our offerings. He does not measure them by their size or monetary value. He measures them by the heart with which they are given. He accepts our small, imperfect gifts, our limited time, our developing talents, our humble resources. He does not scoff at their size. Instead, he receives them with grace, ready to do something incredible with them. The miracle begins the moment we are willing to let go of what we have. Then Jesus did something powerful. He looked up to heaven and gave thanks. Before the miracle happened, he expressed gratitude. He thanked God for the food he held in his hands, even though it looked like far too little. This act of gratitude changed everything. It acknowledged that God was the source of all provision. It opened the door for God's power to flow. Gratitude turns our focus from what we lack to the God who lacks nothing. It shifts our perspective from the problem to the provider. It is an act of faith that declares that what we have in God's hands is already more than enough. After giving thanks, Jesus broke the loaves and the fish. He gave them to the disciples. The disciples began to distribute them to the people. And a miracle unfolded. The food did not run out. It multiplied. It kept coming. Everyone ate, not just a small bite, but as much as they wanted. They were all satisfied, and when the meal was over, there was an abundance of food left over. 12 baskets full of broken pieces were collected. The small lunch of one boy not only fed thousands, but also resulted in an overflowing surplus. What began as a tiny offering became a feast of abundance, with more left over than what they started with. Amazingly. This story is not just a historical account. It is a living lesson for us today, right now, in 2025. God is still in the business of multiplying small gifts. He invites us to participate in modern-day miracles by offering our own loaves and fish. What do you have in your hands? It may not seem like much, but it is a starting point for God's work. Think about your time. You may feel like you have no extra hours in your day. Offer 15 minutes to call a friend who is lonely. Spend half an hour helping a neighbor with yard work. A small, dedicated portion of your time, given with love, can be multiplied into great encouragement. Consider your talents and skills. You may not think you are an expert. You have unique abilities. Good at listening. Offer a listening ear to someone who is struggling. Know how to organize things. Help a friend declutter. Help a local charity sort donations. Cook a simple meal. Write an encouraging note. Fix something that is broken. These simple skills, when offered, bring comfort, order, and hope. Do not underestimate what you know how to do. Offer that skill and watch how God can use it. And what about your resources? Many of us look at our bank accounts and feel the pinch of scarcity. We think we do not have enough to be generous. Generosity is not about amount, it is about heart. A small financial gift given cheerfully can be part of something much bigger. Combine gifts to fund a mission, feed a family, provide clean water for a village. Your $5 might be the very loaves and fish that start a chain reaction. It's not the size, it's the willingness to release it. Stop focusing on what you lack. Start offering what you have. The boy did not have a banquet, he had a lunch. You do not need a perfect solution. Be willing to contribute your part. A kind word, a simple prayer, a shared meal, a small act of service. These are the modern-day loaves and fish. When you offer them, you step into the story. Trust that the same Jesus who multiplied that boy's lunch can multiply your small offering to meet needs you cannot imagine. Two powerful ingredients made this miracle possible: faith and generosity. Let's first look at faith. The young boy showed incredible faith. He did not know what Jesus was going to do. He could have held on to his meal, thinking it was better to feed himself than to give it away for what seemed like a hopeless cause. But he trusted Jesus. He placed his lunch into the hands of the Savior, believing that Jesus could do something with it. This is the kind of faith God asks of us. It is not a faith that has all the answers. It is a faith that trusts the character of God even when the outcome is uncertain. It is acting on the belief that God is good and powerful. The disciples also had to step out in faith. After Jesus blessed the food, he gave it to them to distribute. Imagine being the first disciple to take a piece of bread from that small basket. You are facing a line of 100 hungry people. It would have been easy to hesitate, to doubt, to question the logic of it all. But they obeyed. They started handing out the food, and as they gave, it multiplied. Their faith was expressed through their action. Faith is not a passive feeling. It is an active trust. It is taking the next step, even when you cannot see the whole path. We must trust God enough to start giving, even when we fear we will run out. The second ingredient is generosity. The boy's gift was an act of pure generosity. He gave away all that he had. He did not hold back a portion for himself. He gave freely and completely. This spirit of generosity is what opens the door to abundance. When we cling tightly to what we have, our hands are closed. We cannot give and we cannot receive. But when we open our hands to give, we position ourselves to see God's provision flow through us. Generosity breaks the power of scarcity in our lives. It declares that our security is not in what we possess, but in the God who possesses everything. Generosity and faith work together. Faith is the belief that God can multiply. Generosity is the action of giving Him something to multiply. One without the other is incomplete. We can say we have faith, but if we never act generously with our time, talents, or treasure, our faith remains untested. And we can act generously out of our own strength, but we will quickly become tired and depleted. But when we combine our faith in God's power with a generous heart, we create the perfect conditions for a miracle. We become conduits of God's blessing, not just reservoirs. Before the food was broken, before it was multiplied, Jesus did something crucial. The Bible says He gave thanks. This is a detail we cannot afford to miss. In the face of overwhelming need and with seemingly inadequate resources in His hands, Jesus paused to express gratitude. He thanked God the Father for the 5 loaves and 2 fish. He modeled for us that gratitude precedes the miracle. It is the key that unlocks the door to abundance. Gratitude shifts our focus from the size of the problem to the greatness of our God. It acknowledges that everything we have, no matter how small, is a gift from Him. When we practice gratitude, our perspective changes completely. Instead of seeing our small offering as not enough, we begin to see it as a seed full of potential. A grateful heart does not complain about what is missing. It gives thanks for what is present. When you feel you do not have enough time, try giving thanks for the minutes you do have. When you feel you do not have enough money, give thanks for the dollars you do possess. This act of thanksgiving is an act of faith. It declares that you trust God to work with what you have given Him. It prepares your heart to see His provision in a new way. Gratitude also fights against the poison of comparison. It is so easy to look at what others have and feel that our own gifts are insignificant. We see someone who is more talented, more wealthy, or has more free time, and we think our small contribution does not matter. But gratitude helps us to appreciate the unique gifts God has given us. The boy with the loaves and fish did not compare his lunch to what a king could provide. He simply offered what was his. When we are thankful for what we can give, we stop worrying about what we cannot. We can then joyfully and freely offer our part, trusting God to use it as He sees fit. Start practicing gratitude today. Before you offer your time, your talent, or your resources, take a moment to thank God for them. Thank Him for the ability to serve, for the skill you can share, or for the money you can give. This simple act aligns your heart with His. It turns your giving from a duty into a joyful act of worship. Gratitude is the posture of receiving. When we come to God with thanksgiving, we show that we are ready to see Him work. It is the fertile ground in which the seeds of our small offerings can be multiplied into a harvest of abundance for all to see. The story of the feeding of the 5,000 is more than just a remarkable event from the past. It is an enduring invitation from Jesus to you and to me. It challenges the way we look at our lives and our resources. Stop measuring by the world's standards of big and small, enough and not enough. Start seeing your life through the lens of faith. God can take what little you have and turn it into an abundance of blessing. He is not limited by our scarcity. Our scarcity is often the very stage He chooses to display His limitless power. We have seen the pattern. A great need arises. Human logic sees only limitation and impossibilities. A small, seemingly insignificant gift is offered with a willing heart. Jesus takes the gift, gives thanks, and then breaks it to be shared. The small offering is multiplied beyond explanation, meeting the need with more than enough left over. This is God's divine economy. An upside-down kingdom where the small becomes great, the last become first, and what is given away is returned 100-fold. Your small act of kindness, your hour of volunteered time, your humble financial gift. So, the story leaves us with a question. What is in your hands? What are your 5 loaves and 2 fish? Do not dismiss anything as too small or unimportant. Think about your day today and your week ahead. Is it a word of encouragement you can offer to a coworker? Is it a small portion of your income you can set aside for someone in need? Is it an hour of your time you can give to your family or your community? Is it a skill you can use to help someone, expecting nothing in return? Do not wait until you feel you have more to offer. Do not wait for perfect conditions or a bigger bank account. The miracle began when the boy gave what he had right then and there. Choose one small thing, one simple gift. Offer it to God with a heart full of faith and gratitude. Trust Him to take it, bless it, and multiply it for His good purposes. The same Jesus who fed the multitude on that hillside is with you today. Jesus then took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed to those who were seated as much as they wanted. John 6:11. What small gift can you offer to God today? What talent can you offer to God today? What resource can you offer to God today, trusting Him to multiply it for greater good? Reflect on this. What small gift, talent, or resource can you offer to God today, trusting Him to multiply it for greater good?